Hello friends and welcome to this channel. In this video let me discuss how intermittent fasting works for weight loss. Hoping you enjoy it. Today, let's discuss about what happens to our body during fasting, and how this can help you lose weight and feel healthier at the same time. During fasting, our body transitions what we use in terms of fuel, from food to what we store on our bodies. So when we talk about energy, the body can really use one of two main fuels, that is glucose, which is a type of carbohydrate, and fat. Protein is also one of the macronutrients, but is not primarily used as a fuel. It can be in a pinch, but mostly, it's used for structure, that it's what's for building functional tissues like muscles and bones. When we store energy, or store calories, we also store it in two different ways, which is glucose and fat. So we store glucose in our liver in the form of glycogen. The body takes the individual molecules of glucose, string them all together in a long chain, and puts it into the liver, and that's called glycogen. I remember this is an entirely normal process, and happens every day. When you eat, you're storing calories. When you're not eating, such as when you're sleeping, you're going to use up some of the calories you stored away. When you extend that fasting period, you simply are using the body's own stores for longer and longer periods of time. So let's see what happens when you start to go longer. What happens to our body as we start going longer and out through the fasting period? So you can see that initially, for the first few hours, about 4 hours after we eat, we're still using the energy derived from our food. After that period of time, we started to use some of the energy we store away. So the first thing we're going to use is the glycogen in the liver. So the glycogen is broken back down into little molecules of glucose, sent back into the blood, and that's the source of energy for most of the body, that is your muscles, your heart, your kidneys, your bones, all of that sort of thing. In the glycogen in our liver, if it's full, is going to last about 24 hours. If you eat a very low carbohydrate diet, for example, and haven't been able to store away the glucose, then you may not have much of that starch, and then you may rely on other sources of energy. So when the glycogen goes down, increase this other process called gluconeogenesis, and that's a period of time somewhere between 16 and perhaps 28 to 30 hours, where your body is going to start using some protein in order to generate the glucose that you need for energy. After that, the fat burning starts to ramp up, and then you'll start to use your body fat for energy, and the amount of energy you're going to derive from the protein goes down. But wait, this period of protein degradation, gluconeogenesis, isn't that a bad thing? It's not as bad as you think. First, if you're overweight, most people actually have an excessive protein. In protein is not the same as muscle. There's a lot of skin and connective tissue, and other proteins, that can be used without losing strength. During fasting, the hormone insulin goes down, but certain other hormones go up, and these are called the counter-regulatory hormones, and this is several hormones, but one of the most important ones, this growth hormone. So when you're not eating, the amount of growth hormone that goes into your body actually surges. Another hormone that goes up is epinephrine, or also called adrenaline. So when you don't eat, your body is not actually shutting itself down, it's actually increasing the amount of adrenaline that's going through your system, and that's going to give you more energy. The third thing is you're gonna see is increase in the sympathetic nervous system, and this is mediated through the vagus nerve, through your spine, and the sympathetic nervous system is also called the fight or flight response, so that when you face the danger, your sympathetic nervous system goes up, your heart rate pounds faster, you start to push out glucose into the system so that you have energy. But it's yet another way that fasting actually tends to increase the activation of your body. It energizes you, it doesn't knock you down. Well, what about your electrolytes? Some people are worried that if they don't eat for a period of time, that their sodium or the potassium, or their chloride cry, for example, will go too low, but that's not actually what happens. Studies show, the world record breaking fasting was 382 days, and you can see that while the numbers bounce around a little bit, they tend to stay very stable. So not just sodium and potassium, and chloride, but also calcium and phosphorus, and also things like urea and creatinine, which are measures of the kidney function, so the body is able to fuel itself on the body fat, without really any detrimental effects to the electrolytes in your system. So in summary, fasting is really this transition between how you use your fuel. Are you using it from the food? Are you using it from the food that you ate in the past, which you've now stored away in the form of body fat, or in the form of glycogen? So if your blood sugars are too high, for example increasing your fasting time, is going to allow your body to use up some of that fuel, that extra sugar. If you want to lose weight, that is body fat, then you're giving your body the time it needs to transition into burning off this body fat, which, remember, is just a store of calories. Body fat is not there for looks, it's there for you to use when you have nothing to eat, so you have to give it time. Along the way, during this transition, what happens to the body? There's a lot of other things that are very good. Growth hormone is going to go up, you're going to preserve your lean tissue, you're going to feel more energy, you're gonna feel better concentration, higher mental abilities, all while losing weight, maybe taking care of your blood sugars. I hope you enjoy it. Leave comments, subscribe and hit the bell icon for another exciting and informative videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.